All right, so today we're going to look at quartiles, interquartiles, and box and whisker plots. So first thing, we did talk about range a little bit yesterday. Range, remember, is the highest number minus the lowest number. And the whole reason we talk about the range is because it tells us how spread out our data is. And today we're going to be working with quartiles. First five letters of quartile is quart. What does quart mean? Quarter or four, right? So when we talk about quartiles, we're breaking the data into four equal parts. And so that means each quartile would have what percent in it? 25. 100% the whole data set. You're breaking into four equal parts, be 25. So each quartile has 25% of the data. Okay, for us to find quartiles, we're going to find the median first. And for us to find the median, what do we have to do with our data first? Arrange it from smallest to largest. So here we have an example. We have 5, 8, 4, 4, 6, 3, 8. First thing we're going to do is order the data. So it's ordered for you right here already. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 8, 8. So if we're going to break that data into four equal parts, the first thing we do is find the median. Okay? So I want to find the middle. So as I kind of 3 and 8, then 4 and 8, 5 and 6, 4 and 6, and so 5 is my median. Notice how I put a line right through that 5. That's what we call a cut line. You want to draw it right on there. That's our what we call Q2, which is also the median.
Please pardon this interruption. At this time, anyone who still is in need of the flu shot with or without an appointment, report to the health suite. Thank you.
All right, next, to find our lower quartile, we then find the middle of the left side of the data. So since the cut line is on the 5, we're not including it. So we have three numbers to the left of that median. We want to find the middle of those three numbers. So that would be this 4 right here, because then I have one to the left and one to the right. So this is what we call our Q1, or lower quartile. And then we want to find the median of the right side of the data. So again, there's three numbers on the right side, 6, 8, and 8. And the middle of that would be this 8 that's right in the middle. And that's what we call our Q3. So our Q1 is 4, lower quartile. Our median, which is also Q2, is 5. And then our Q3 is 8, as we can see here. Now, in this case, our cut lines were directly on the lines every time. Remember, if the cut line is going to be in between two numbers, we have to do what with those two numbers? Add them, divide by 2, or find the average. Okay? So, here our data is already ordered for us. I want to find the median first. So I have my 1 and my 8, my 3 and my 8, my 3 and 7, 4 and 6. And so 5 and 6 are my middle two numbers. So my cut line is going right in between 5 and 6. So that is my Q2, right in between there. So what is in the middle of 5 and 6? 5.5. So again, you have to either think, what's the middle of 5 and 6? Or you can find the average. So you can add them up. 5 plus 6 divided by 2, that's 11 divided by 2, which is 5.5. Okay, so Q2 is 5.5. Now, to find the Q1, the lower quartile, we're finding the middle of the left side. So since our cut line is in between the 5 and the 6, we are going to look at these 5 numbers as finding the middle of those. So my 1 and my 5, my 3 and the 4, so this 3 right there is the middle, because if you look, I have 2 to the left of that cut line and 2 to the right of that cut line. So my Q1 is the 3 that has that cut line there. That's our Q1. And then to find my upper quartile or Q3, I'm finding the middle of these 5 to the right, and that would be this 7 right there. Again, double check. I have 2 to the right of that cut line and 2 to the right. And that way we know it's actually the middle number. So we have Q1 is 3, Q2 is 5.5, and Q3 is 7. Turn to page 10 once you have that. That top part just goes over what we just talked about. I want you to box this part right here that says interquartile range. So this is a vocab word. Interquartile range is a vocab word. Range means highest minus lowest. So when we say interquartile range, it just means the range of the quartiles. So IQR is abbreviation for interquartile range, and it means taking your Q3 minus your Q1. So interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So if you look here, like we said, each part of our quartiles are 25%. Okay, there's 25% between Q1 and Q2, 25% between Q2 and Q3, and then 25% to the left of Q1, and 25% to the right of Q3. All right, so our directions for the next one say find the quartile 1, quartile 2, which is the median, quartile 3 for the following set of numbers, and then find the interquartile range. So the first thing we have to do is order our numbers. Okay, so my smallest number I have here is a 3. I'll cross that off. I have 2 4s. We have a 5, a 6, and 2 8s. So now we got to find that median first. As we go through, 3 and 8, 4 and 8, 4 and 6. So 5 is my Q2. Double check. Do you have equal numbers on either side? I have 3 to the left. We have 3 to the right. Okay, my Q1 then is going to be the middle of those of the left side. So I have 3 numbers on the left side. The median of that would be this 4. So that 4 is our Q1. And then the Q3 is the median on the right side. So I have 3 numbers to the right. And that 8 in the middle would be Q3. So again, Q1 is 4. Q2 is 5. Q3 is 8. So our IQR, very good, is Q3 minus Q1. So we are doing 8 minus 4. So that is equal to 4. Yeah. So our Q3 is 8.
Oh, I was confused.
Okay, good question. All right, then we're going to talk about box and whiskers. We're not really going to make a whole lot of box and whiskers. We just want to be able to read a box and whisker plot. Okay, so on the top of page 11, the way you read a box and whisker plot, it's called a box and whisker because it has a box in it, and then there's little lines coming out the end that kind of look like whiskers. Okay, so the box is made up of Q1 on the left, Q2 would be some sort of line in the middle wherever Q2 happens to be, and then Q3 is the right side of the box. Going from your box to the left side would be your lowest value. So at the very end on the left is your lowest value. And then going from your box over to the right-hand side on the far right would be your highest value. Okay, so you can get 5 numbers off of that. Your lowest, your Q1, your Q2, your Q3, and then your highest. And we also know that each piece of this is going to be what percent again? 25. So I know 25% of my data would be in this little whisker piece here. 25% of my data is in this whisker piece. 25% of my data is in this box part. And then 25% of my data is in this whisker piece. So you can see that like this 25% on the right side of the box is a little bit more spread out than this 25%. Okay, it just means there's a larger range or spread of numbers in that amount of data. All right, so take a moment and try doing 1 and 2 on these examples, 1 and 2. So here we have Q3 minus Q1, 9 minus 4, IQR for number 3 would be 5. All right, I got to update this problem a little bit, but on the next page it says the accompanying box and whisker plot represents the cost in dollars of 12 CDs. You guys even know what CDs are?
Yes.
All right, so anyway, maybe update that problem a little bit. Anyway, so within this data set there's 12 CDs, and this represents the cost of each one along here, okay? So what cost represents the 100th percentile? 100th percentile means the max. Okay, that's another way of saying the max. So what's the maximum value for this? 29. If you look, the max is on the right side, and that's not over to 30, it's over 1 tick mark, so this would be 29. So $29 would be our maximum price for the CD that was in our data set. Part B says how many CDs cost between $14.50 and $26. So 1450 is right here. So that's this left part of the box. 26 is right here. That's the right side of the box. And we said what percent is in each part of our box and whisker? 25. So we know 25% of our data is here. 25% of our data is here. 25% of our data is here. And 25% of our data is there. So what percent of our data is between $14.50 and $26? 50%. Because remember, we're going from here to here. That's 50% of our data. Now, the question is not asking what percent. It says how many. So we're saying 50% of how many? How many were in our data set? How many CDs were in our data set? 12. There's 12 CDs in our data set. It says it up here, 12 CDs. So we're finding 50% of 12, which is, again, half of 12, which is 6. So 6 CDs would have been in costing between $14.50 and $26. Okay, so we can say 6 CDs. C says how many CDs cost less than $14.50? So $14.50 is here. Less than that would be to the left, which would be what percent? So here we're saying 25% of 12 again. If we're going to type that into a calculator, how do we find 25% as a decimal? Move it to the left, 0.25 times 12, which is 3. So 3 CDs would be in that whisker part right there. Okay, you are working on page 13 for homework. Most of it is true, false. Try your best. Don't just write true or false.